Rainbows are a reminder. And I want you to just think about it for a moment. A reminder that we, all of us, are part of something greater. No matter what's going on in our life, whether it's the time of rain or the clouds or the sunshine that we're celebrating, there's always a rainbow that's connecting us to something more. Now this morning, we're talking about the rainbow in our own soul, the rainbow that keeps us connected to that something greater, but also the stories of rainbows that have awakened our humanness to something greater. In Jewish mythology and in the Old Testament, it tells of Noah and the flood. And when the flood and the waters ceased, Noah still held great fear that God was going to punish the earth one more time with another flood. But there was a message that came, and this comes from Genesis 9:12. And God gave Noah a covenant, a promise. He said, "This is a sign of the covenant which I am making between me and you and every living creature for all successive generations. I set my rainbow in the cloud. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of a promise that I give to you between me and the entire earth." And the promise is God is everywhere present always. We don't see physical rainbows often, and I know when I do, it's an awe-inspiring event. And that's why it's so important to keep that rainbow in our own soul awake and alive. But there's another message that comes with rainbows in Jewish mythology. And it's in the Talmud, and it's the story of two rabbis as they're walking down the dirt road, and they stop, as they usually do, to talk about the meaning of life. And as they stopped, the sky was filled with clouds, and a rainbow became apparent. And as the rabbis stopped in awe, as we all do when we see the beautiful colors of the rainbow in the sky, and what they noticed, they said, the rabbi saw the clusters of angels that gathered around the rainbow to listen, like guests at a wedding who rejoice with the bride and groom. And what are the angels rejoicing in? They're rejoicing in the marriage of heaven and earth. Because what a beautiful sign of the connection between heaven and earth, the rainbow. And we need to keep that knowing alive in us. Now, if we think about that, to keep alive a rainbow in our own soul, what do we need to have a rainbow? Well, you need rain, you need clouds, but you have to have the sun, the light. You must have the light. And if we don't have the light, which represents just what you were sharing about today, Pam, it's about the light of all the truths, the spiritual truths we know. If we don't have the light on within us, the light of faith, the light of love, the light of truth, the light of harmony, we can't possibly see that there's something greater at work in our lives than the present situation we're in. We have to keep that light turned on. And unfortunately, we have those unconscious biases that keep us stuck in the dark so often. We talked about it last week, that collective unconscious that keeps us tied into old beliefs that keep us stuck. And we stay in the dark instead of turning on the light of truth that resides within us all the time. There's a legal term called willful blindfulness. And willful blindfulness is when there's a truth that could be known, in fact, that should be known, but is not known. And if a person chooses not to know the truth that's available and ready to be seen, that's there apparent, it said they have willful blindfulness. They have chosen not to know. Well, how much do we choose not to know? Because you know, when you turn on the light, you can see the cobweb in all the corners, right? I mean, when we turn on the light in our own mind, when we're truly aware, we can see, oh, I didn't clean too well there. I haven't done my purification. I haven't done my work. We see the cobwebs. And sometimes the cobwebs, the past experiences, the indiscretions, all the things, the learning experiences we've had, our families have had, our communities had, the world has had, comes to light and we don't want to see it. so we choose to be willfully blind. This doesn't just happen in our own lives, it happens in the world. If we look at what's happened in banking and the Catholic Church and wars, there's a lot of willful blindness that has hurt a lot of people. But if we choose to be willfully blind about our own lives, if we're stuck in past experiences that we could grow from, if we're still holding on to guilt, resentment, lack of forgiveness, if we're choosing to be in that darkness, the light that's there cannot be seen. And my beautiful favorite 13th century Sufi mystic poet says, Rumi says, "I go to the one who can cure me." And to cure me means to turn on the light. He says, "I go to the one who can cure me and say, I have 100 things wrong. Can you combine them into one?" Great idea. Well, I'll tell you what, our practitioners, our ministers, anyone who's been reading our textbook, The Science of Mind, who's been in classes, knows there is only one thing wrong. There's only one thing, and it's our separation from God and one another. Really, that's the only thing that's wrong. Because when we are connected with that light that keeps us aware that we're part of something greater, we know that we're always being pulled and guided into something more. There's always something more that wants to be shown to us, to be revealed. So if we have the challenge, if we have the challenges and the troubles of financial insecurity, of health challenges, of relationship problems, of problems with creative expression, of work, whatever it is, all of those, if we have those, and we turn on the light, we realize the real problem is our separation from our faith and knowing that there's something more at work always. I want to share another one of my Rumi poems that I love. Love, which we call God, love, truth, beauty, whatever you want to call it, spirit. Love is pulling us out by the ears to school. Love wants us clean of resentments, of those impulses that misguide our souls. We are asleep, but God keeps sprinkling water on our faces. Keep sprinkling that water, and the sun for the rainbows. Keep sprinkling the water on our faces. Love will tell us the rest of that which we need to know soon. That's faith. When we truly believe that we're going to know what we need to know at the perfect and right time, that's faith. We need to keep that rainbow going. We need to keep it. We need to keep ourselves alive and awake and connected to what's really trying to be known here. So I don't know. I always say on Sunday mornings when I'm doing my contemplation and my meditation, what's really going on with our community now? What's most going to help? Because we're in this together. No one is on a path of individuality. We can't. It's impossible. And a rainbow tells us that. We're here together, and what hurts me in some way hurts you, and what hurts you hurts me. And why we have celebration Sunday is because what you celebrate, I can celebrate. I can be joyous and happy. Look at the Olympic Games. How many of you got to see the opening ceremonies? I mean, if you think about it, the Olympics, I think the first recorded Olympics was in 776 BC, 3,000 years ago in Greece. And they came out of the beliefs and the values of the Greeks. And they so valued physical fitness and mental discipline, and they loved the competition. And they loved coming together to see what's possible. This was done in a spirit of cooperation and common good. And for the first 13 Olympics, there was only one race that was run. It was a running race. I'm not sure the name of it. Just one race for 13 Olympics. But then they added more, as they're doing now. But it represented their values and beliefs. And the games continued until Rome took over Greece, conquered Greece, and came in, and then something happened. The light went out. The need to win became more important than the cooperative spirit, and trickery and cheating came involved. And the games started disintegrating in the beliefs and values that were important. And the Caesar at the time, the emperor at the time, banned the Olympics. He was Christian and thought they were just pagan, and he said, I don't want the games anymore. And it wasn't until the late 1800s that the games again renewed in Greece, again with the beliefs and the values that we are here together. These games, when the symbols of the flags that came, the interlocking, the continents, the interlocking, we have a common humanity we're here to celebrate. We have a common good. We need to have empathy. Don't you love the human stories that are told when you watch the Olympics? You can see what's behind all of the talent and the expertise and what it took to get there. And we get to look at those circles and realize we are all connected. We cannot be separate. The rainbow has every single color, from infrared to ultraviolet, every color, and no color is pushed out. They're all working together. That's a message for us, something for us to learn and know, that we can't do this alone. We're not in this world alone. And so if we awaken that rainbow in our own heart. Now, I don't know how many of you love the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but I would have to think everybody loves that song in some way. I mean, it was voted #1 song of the 20th century. So it's a wonderful song. And I want you to think, when you think over the rainbow, what do you see? What possibility are you looking at right now for yourself, for the world, for people you know? What possibility are you looking at? What's over the rainbow for you? Well, what many of us don't know, and I wasn't familiar with, is wonderful as this song is, and as much as we love it, I know most of us think, oh, over the rainbow, what is it I want? What is it I want for the world? This song was actually published, well, it was composed by 2 Jewish composers. And it was published on the eve of the Holocaust in 1939. So Over the Rainbow for them was probably a lot different than the Over the Rainbow we think about. One of the darkest times in human history. And this song was written with a heritage of the pain of this time in Jewish history and the history of the world, but what was happening to the Jews. And that's what's being thought about when this song is composed and written, of the possibility that has to come out of this darkness. So my message for all of us at this time is, whatever darkness is facing us, whatever tragedy is here for us right now, there's something more that wants to be born. So I'm going to invite you right now to just relax yourselves and just uncross whatever is crossed, so you're open to that something greater that is ever present, that light that is ever shining, that wants to be accepted and revealed. And in this moment, just invite yourself to hold a greater possibility. If it's for you right now, if there's a cloud over your own head, if there's something in your own life that feels heavy, just hold that possibility, that light that's always shining. There's something more that's waiting to be revealed, something right now that wants to be shown to each and every one of us. And as we settle in and we choose now to open up to all the aspects of our life, to be open and available to the perfection of spirit of life, to know that there is only one life. That life is God's life, of which we all are a part. That life is perfect. However it's showing up in this human experience, that life is perfect. And the only problem we can have is our separation from the recognition and knowing that our life is unfolding exactly as it should. And just breathing in right now the knowing, and that life of God, that life that is perfect, is my life right now. And as simply an individualized expression of the one, our individual lives cannot be separate from the whole. Our life, as Ernest Holmes said, is a journey of awakening and discovering the wholeness in which we live, the wholeness in which we exist. So letting go of any of the cleaning the cobwebs of separation, of doubt, of fear. You know, that willful blindness always is born out of fear of consequences. Well, if we know that life is unfolding, evolving, and growing into something more and greater, if we truly choose to learn and grow from our experiences, to know that our life is eternal and everlasting because we're one with that which is eternal, and everlasting. Just take a moment and let the light of love pull you into a greater expression as you fill yourself with oneness, with harmony, the message of this beautiful symbol of the rainbow, which is truly a symbol of the inner awakening to the truth that unites us. Love, harmony, peace, joy, beauty. Let that crystal that's within you, the spark of divinity, as Pam was sharing this morning in her story, be ignited by the light of awareness. And knowing that we are in this together. And as we choose right now to look over that rainbow, that light, that love, I'm going to share with you a poem by Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou spoke so often of coming together for the common good, coming together in support of one another. So I just want you to hear this, and in your own mind, as you look over the rainbow, it's just not what good is waiting for you, but what good am I able to do? Maya Angelou said, "The thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so you can be the rainbow in someone else's cloud." So you can be the rainbow in someone else's cloud. Somebody who may not look like you, may not call God by the same name you do, may not call God at all, may not dance your dances or speak your language. Be a blessing to somebody, and be that blessing today. That's what I think. That's what Maya Angelou thinks. That's what I think. So when we look over this rainbow and see the possibilities for ourselves, what more and greater good is wanting to be expressed, what I'm inviting us to do is to also see what good we can do, what legacy we can leave. You know, when I think of rainbows, I am always and ever awe-inspired. Stop to see them. Look at them. Try to see the beginning and the end. Search them. But what they do is to remind me that beauty is a universal gift. The beauty of a rainbow, a flower, the beauty of love, the things visible and invisible, are gifts that anyone, anywhere, doing anything can enjoy and feel. It doesn't matter where you are, to reap the benefits of beauty. So when I talk about being the rainbow in someone else's cloud, let the beauty that belongs to you and me be the gift that we share with the world. The gift that we share. I know yesterday I was getting my nails done, and one of the ladies working there, she goes, "Every time I look at you, you're smiling. Every time you come in here, you're smiling." And I think it's become something I just do without even thinking about it. Because I want to make sure it's not for me, but I want to make sure that where I am, I'm making something better than bringing it down. So if a smile is the most beautiful thing we can give, I just say, let's give it. So as we share today in hearing my favorite song, I want you to truly think of the beautiful things that are waiting for you, that I know are waiting right now, because life is eternal, everlasting, evolving. It's there for all of us. But also imagine and know the blessing that you can be to this world. You certainly are a blessing coming together. I comment in the mornings the joy that is just percolating as people come in. And I feel it. I'm blessed by it. I say thank you to each and every one of you. I love you very, very much. And I see the good, the beauty, and the amazing love that is being shared. Thank you. And so it is.